Today I'm going to show you how to teach the place command. Place command is pretty similar to the stay command, but with stay, you put them in a random spot, and they're supposed to stay there until you release them. With place, they should ideally go to a specific spot and stay there until you release them. So I like to use two different commands, place and stay, so that because each command is different for the dog. So today we're going to teach the place command and show you how to introduce that. I like to use raised cots for the place command because it's easier for them to know where they're supposed to go, and it's also harder for them to inch off of it. A lot of dogs like to test it, especially puppies. They like to test it and kind of try to crawl off of the placemat. So with the cot, it's a little bit harder for them to do that. You can use really anything as a place command. If you don't want to use a cot, you can use a dog bed, you can use a rug, you can use a blanket. Basically, it just has to be something that they can distinguish from everything else around them. And the nice thing about the place command is you can have multiple placemats. You don't just have to have one. You can have one in each room. You know, you can have a couple in the house. Dogs can pick up different placemats pretty easily. So Rusty has a little bit of an understanding of the place command, but he's not perfect yet, so he's going to be a really good example of a dog learning the place command. Now, if you have a dog that has never been on a cot before, oftentimes you kind of have to introduce them to the cot before you can actually start teaching them the place command. A lot of dogs think that the cot is a little scary because it's off the ground, and some dogs have never, been on something like this before. So oftentimes I like to introduce them to the cot and then introduce them to the place command. So what I'm going to do is get a nice smelling treat and kind of guide the dog to the cot. If they're a little hesitant about walking onto it, then I may apply a little bit of leash pressure, and sometimes I'll even toss the treat onto the cot to kind of encourage them to walk onto it. So if he was uncomfortable with it, what I would do, come here, Rusty. If he was uncomfortable with it, then I would start guiding him to it, just like this. And he's trying to get his halty off. He's not super comfortable with it yet, but he'll get there. But I'm going to guide him to the cot with the treat and then toss the treat onto the cot to kind of help encourage him to go onto it. Sometimes I have to toss a couple onto the cot, but he's pretty comfortable with the cot, so he's not giving us hardly any problems. If your dog is really uncomfortable about the cot, just work them past it and be patient. Don't give in to them trying to run away or avoid the cot, because then they're never going to get comfortable with it. So you want to keep working with them to the point where you can get this where they're really comfortable with the cot. So I do like to use a hand signal for the place command. Typically I just use a finger pointing to where I want them to go. And then I just use the place command. So I'm not going to associate stay with this at all. I'm just going to say place. And typically I don't even tell them to sit or down either. Typically I want them to do just what Rusty did. I want them to go there, get comfortable, and stay there till I release them. So if they're struggling at getting comfortable, I may help by applying a little bit of leash pressure to get them into a submissive posture. But overall, like most dogs that I introduce the place command to kind of naturally get into a more comfortable position. So if you're struggling with it though, you can apply sit or down and then phase that out pretty quickly. So Rusty, come here. So now I'm going to actually start associating the command with him. I like to do this on leash. You can use a training collar as well. He's got on a halty, so you can use that if you'd like, or you can use like a slip lead or something like that, but you don't have to. He's a young puppy. He's about 3 months old, so he needs a little bit more help to kind of help keep him focused and keep him in the right state of mind. So I like to use the halty with younger puppies. So what I'm going to do with him, like I said, I'm going to start him on leash, and I'm just going to guide him there. Have the treat in this hand and guide him there. Rusty, place. Very good. Now, when they're in the beginning, the first couple times, I will treat them for going to the place, but because he knows it well enough, I'm not going to treat him for going to the place. I don't want him to rely on getting a treat for going to the place. I want it to just be an expectation of go there, get comfortable, and stay there till I release you. And in the beginning, I can't expect them to stay there longer than 15 to 20 seconds, especially puppies. They don't have a super long duration that they can stay for, that they can stay focused for. A minute of staying is like mentally running a mile to a dog. So staying put for a long period is very mentally exhausting for a lot of dogs. So in the beginning, I'm going to start off 10-15 seconds, and each day I'm going to gradually make it more challenging. Rusty's to the point where he can do this for about 5 minutes, which is really awesome for a puppy his age. Not a lot of puppies can go to that amount of time as quickly as he has. But if you push your dog hard enough, they'll get to that point as well. Ultimately, I want to get your dog to the point where they can do this for up to an hour. Mentally, this exercise is extremely exhausting to dogs, and so I like to focus on both mental and physical activity with my dogs every single day. This is a really great mental exercise that you can practice with them, especially if there's a lot going on in your house. Kids are running around, things like that. I also like to practice this when I'm eating dinner or making dinner, as well as when people come to the door to help teach boundaries. I also like to just practice this, to just, if I'm watching TV or on the computer or something, giving your puppy a really good way, a really good spot for them to learn to just hang out rather than wandering and getting into trouble. So you can use this command with both puppies and adult dogs, but it especially comes in handy if you have a dog that likes to try to get in trouble in the house by counter surfing, chewing, pottying, things like that. This helps to just teach them how to hang out near you a little bit more consistently and stay calmer in the house. So to release him from the place, I like to return back to them, give them some love, and then have them follow me off of the place. Really, they shouldn't get up unless you say so. So if he gets up, you're going to correct him, take him back, and start all over again. Rusty is pretty good at not breaking his place. But if he were to get up before I release him, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a little quick pop and release on the leash, and I'm going to take him right back and start all over again. And really, the second his butt comes off the ground, I want to correct him and send him back to the place. So, but to release him, like I said, I'm going to return back to him. If I have treats, I'll give him a treat, and then I'll give him some love. Good boy, good place. Good boy. And then my release word is all right. So then I'm going to release him with all right and have him follow me. Rusty, all right. Good boy. Very good. Yeah, good job. Good boy. Very good. I'll show you the place one more time. Rusty, place. Good boy. So that's exactly what we want him to do. Just go there immediately, get comfortable, stay there till you release him. Good boy, Rusty. Good place. Good boy. Good place. All right. Very good. Good boy. So if you have any questions or concerns or comments, feel free to call or text us anytime or email us. We'll post our contact information at the end of this video. You can also go to our website for more information.